All right.
Heartbeats, how are you this beautiful day? I hope that your heart is beating within rhythm. Welcome to the Heartbeat Station for those who are tuning in for the very first time. Let's turn up. This is where you'll meet holistic practitioners and you will discover how they will assist you on your healing journey. And maybe this is the day you'll find someone who can support you, help you, or maybe someone else that you know. My name is Sharon, the Heart Lady. And as usual, I have another very special, extra special guest. Yes, that's right. No shade to anybody else. But this is my colleague, my office partner. And I just like for you to see and understand what he does and what we do. Dr. Reverend Dr. Jerome Maultsby. How are you, darling? How are you?
Greetings. I am super fantastic. Always a special place to be in your presence and our many conversations and all the work that we do together. So I am extremely honored to be your guest today.
So Dr. Jerome, as we affectionately call him, is with Ignite, the Power Within, and he also is a co-founder of the Transcendent Life Coaching Institute. We are getting ready to dive in and find out what's going on with him up in this beautiful mind of his, and
Oh,
of course the beautiful heart.
absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
Dr. Jerome, how did you come up with Ignite with the power within, and what does that really mean to you?
It's really something that resonated with me with one of my favorite books, one of my early readings in esoteric thinking, spiritual awareness by Eric Butterworth. And the book is called Ignite the Power Within You.
Mhm.
It's a super fantastic book to really break down the myths and the mis over understandings of biblical text, and just really just an awesome uh, uh, mind opening book in terms of spirituality.
Yeah.
Uh, it resonated with me because I am non-Western culture traditionalist when it comes to spirituality,
Yes.
a religion or in practice. So,
Yeah.
and it had a very eclectic version of spirituality, which resonated with me because I do too. Because as a young person, there was always a question about the standards, in our communities in terms of when it comes to religion
Yeah.
early on, which like would, but after going to college and studying psychology and sociology, it opened my mind about other uh, aspects of spirituality, of religion, and other deeper insights about what does that really mean? What is religion? So
Yeah.
I moved from religion to spirituality,
Yeah.
and that book really helped me reassociate the
Mhm.
power in
Within.
knowing that,
Mhm.
yeah, knowing that religion is just a dogma, just a practice, and there are hundreds of them all
Yeah.
over the world,
Yeah.
right? Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, so that was me. So I found myself I was more at ease with that understanding.
Mhm.
So that's what I when I read that book, I was like, yes, that's it. So when I began my own practice, thinking about okay, what is going to be my hook, the name of my practice, and I said, wow, yeah, what I'm doing is to serve people to ignite that power within them,
I love
and
it.
not looking for things to come from the outside,
Yeah.
but it's on the inside.
Always inside. Absolutely.
Yes, yes. So my goal is as a psychologist, as a master life coach, as a person who works with substance abuse and treatment individuals, as a counselor, and just all those things, and realize that yeah, it has to come from the inside. And so
Absolutely.
therefore, my role is to ignite that power,
Yes.
give
Yeah.
them the pathway, give them some information so that they can be in agreement with, yes, I do have power inside of me,
Yes.
and so therefore, what I do is to be that match, to be that fire of
I
igniting.
love it
So
all.
that's where it came
Definitely.
from.
I
Yeah.
resonate with all those words. Absolutely. If we only really knew the power that we do have within, tapping into that power that can help manifest, that can help heal, and that can help transform and create more love within yourself and around others. So I love it. Dr. Jerome, what does spirituality mean? How would you define it for yourself?
Spirituality is a inner awareness and a belief in that which created all things. It goes by many names: God, Buddha, Allah, Krishna. and all those
Yeah.
names. But what I found for me is there's one common denominator. And because religion obviously it identifies practices. So, okay, so that's not it. So then what is it? So
Hmm.
then all those practices come under the realm for me under spirituality, meaning that that is the inner attunement to our creator, whatever you
Mm.
call it, right? And so I
Nice,
find
nice.
that,
Yes.
and we have so many wars, so many things because of the differences, because
Yeah.
of the misinformation, the misunderstanding about what that really is. What is
Yes.
the fundamental foundation of all awareness?
Hmm.
For me, that is spirituality. It's well, no matter what you call it, I seek to say, let's talk about what we have in common versus what's different, because we have a right to choose our practice. Our ancestors chose based on their attunement and their coming to aware of that, which we look around the world and all these things that what we didn't put this here. Where did it come from?
Right. Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
investigating that our ancestors they set the path and made different paths.
Yeah.
That that is what's greater than us that created the universe,
Yes.
the vastness of the universe. The earth is like an ant
Yes.
in the
Yes.
universe. You know what I
So
mean? Yeah.
absolutely. I told
Yeah.
you this brother is deep. You better stay tuned.
But great question. Great question. I work with that with individuals, with the men I work with, and the couples I work with, and
Yeah.
the different kinds I have, and that is the common confusion.
Yeah.
And so learning to steer them away from, let's talk about what we have in common,
Yes.
and that is, and then we can get somewhere. Because otherwise it's not discernment, it's judgment.
It's judgment, and it brings up fear as well. And so
Absolutely.
once we get on the same page, so to speak, to have a mutual understanding, overstanding about what spirituality is, whether you say you're
Yes.
Christian or you're Buddha or whatever you subscribe to,
Yes.
still have the same common goal. What made you start your business as an entrepreneur in this world of whew.
Uh,
dot, dot,
of this
dot.
world of this world of a regular job, which I have nothing against because I have many of
Yes.
those, several of those,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
well, great question. So, it started. I'd had several contracts with Stan Incorporated, which I still work with, right? I'm actually on the board of directors as well, which is a substance abuse treatment, inpatient, outpatient substance abuse treatment agency, and I've been with them 15 years in and out, right? So once I received my master's and doctorate, I did my practicum there at
Mhm.
Stanford Corporate. And then I found, wow, this is where I can ignite some power within. Perfect place, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
getting to know this executive director, Charles Sperling, and becoming not just a colleague but a friend, and there was opportunity there for me. So I went as an employee, as a counselor, and so folks, if you know about those genres, there's grants that support these types of businesses, right?
Yeah.
And agencies. So I was part of several different grants there. Grants have a sunrise and they have a
Yes.
sunset, just
Sunset.
like my picture in the back, right? So and then rise, sunset. So as they were rising and setting, I was fortunate to go through three different projects there. And that last sunset, you
Hmm.
know, which my colleague and I, Dr. Faya, Reverend Dr. Faya Oates, I brought her on there as another person of interest there, and she did some work there with me,
Hmm.
and that ended, so there was a dilemma. So I went, oh, okay, I gotta find a job. Okay, without skills and resumes, and it just nothing was coming through. There was one with the public defender's office of Fulton County, and I just know I'm a shoe in there because I've been working with them for years,
Yeah.
knew all the people, but forgot about there's an order. Before
Hmm.
me, there was other people who had qualified, so they went down
Hmm.
the line. Well,
Right.
the next in line.
Yeah. Yeah.
A conversation with Dr. Fire. But Dr. Norm, you have all these contacts, all these people, all of what you're doing within this world. Why don't you just start your own practice?
Hmm.
I said, never thought about that. Then that big word fear kicked in for a minute.
Hmm. Hmm.
No 401k,
Yeah.
uh, you know.
Yeah.
But then as spirit spoke to me as I went to meditation and prayer about it, what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
You know what you know, you have relationships. Now they just know that you're doing it for yourself.
Yes.
There's no difference.
That's
Right.
it.
So after that prayer meditation and her motivation, you
Yeah.
know, I decided to go and do it. So we shared an office. in the same location where we are now. We
Uh-huh.
started out sharing one office, and man, I tell you, God works so fast. You
Mm.
know, twofold. One, word of mouth and people that I start knowing and
Hmm.
those sort of things before any formal advertisement.
Yeah.
And then secondly, my mind was 18 years old and older. I don't want any children.
Right.
That's not
Right.
but I said, no, son, so I'm sorry that's what you think, but that's not what I have for you. I
Mm.
have everybody for you.
Oh, so you
Men,
do
women,
families as well.
families, single moms,
Hmm.
uh, uh, blended families, from all walks of life, attorneys, professionals, folks who are seeking employment, and that just that whole scope was just really my awakening about wow, this is very important. And
Yeah.
so step back, take the ride with me, Spirit said, and I got you. Right.
Ah,
So the rest
beautiful.
is history. So
The
it's
rest
been
is history. Yes,
yeah,
and you have
beautiful
a
journey.
thriving business with folks who are looking for non-traditional healing, and
Yeah.
and you have been able to work with them and get transformation. I was speaking with uh, Angie B, who handles a lot of the social media, about the word transformation, and I asked her, "What does that mean?" And I know you have transcendent life coaching, which I would like to talk about next. So, what does transcendent mean to you?
Transcendent is transformation, meaning going beyond the norm.
Hmm.
Transformation is reaching my higher self, my God,
Mm, love it.
the purposeful self, the
Yeah.
self that has a reason for being.
Yes.
And so that transformative transformation of oneself is why we're here. We're here to reclaim that which we come from, the
Okay.
spirit, which is our creator, and to have reason for being and represent that being
Yes.
that speaks through us and operates through us
Through us.
for others. So
Absolutely.
so so for me, that name that Dr. Fi and I came up with together, saying yes, the idea is when we do this work, not only is it transformative for others, but it's also beginning with transformation for ourselves to make sure
Absolutely.
that we're spot on, that we're in the right path, that we're in the right intention, and that we're being purposeful in this work.
Yeah. So with that said, can I talk a little bit about Transcendent Life Coaching Institute?
Sure,
So
sure.
with our beloved co-founder, TLC, as we affectionately call it. I don't think I've ever mentioned to you, I always say go to TLC so you can get some TLC.
Tender love and care. That's right. That's good. Get back to but I'm gonna use
Yeah, write that one down.
I got
That's
that
the
locked in.
tagline. But
Yes,
no,
indeed.
actually, what stands out different about the Transcendent Life Coaching Institute is the fact that it teaches you to get in touch with yourself first. And a lot of people don't understand it. There are life coaches and there are life coaches, right?
Yes.
And we teach the students that before you think that you can coach anyone else, you have to ignite the power within. Right?
Absolutely.
And that
Absolutely.
is learning about yourself and learning about the triggers and the things that you need to be able to transcend so that you can be a more powerful coach. So, can you tell us a little bit about the school and the program? Yes.
Yes. Yes. So a little bit about the school. So the origin of the school, as you said, was to do something different in terms of training life coaches. Because there's the standard way and there's the traditional way, there's the Western culture way, and there's a way that most people have heard of.
Right.
But we want to approach it differently,
Yeah.
more esoterically, more metaphysically,
Right.
knowing that that's a huge responsibility for those who are suffering, those who are going through situations themselves, and many different types of challenges, relationship challenges, and all types of ways and things. Being a parent, just living life in general, right?
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
a lot of folks who our thought was, so how do we approach that to make sure that we're the best persons in terms of a life coach that we can be?
Yeah.
So we need to work on ourselves first. We need to look at our own narratives, look at our own things that we're going through, and making sure that we're preparing ourselves not to be the one challenged to work with somebody's challenging, right? So how do we do that? So then let's talk about first thing we want to do is work on our own personal challenges and narratives, the unresolved issues that we may have. We speak really a lot about adverse childhood experiences, which is otherwise known as ACEs. And we all have some level of trauma of some parts of our lives as adolescents and not aware that that same trauma, we make conscious decisions to not feel that, whatever
Right.
that was, because it hurt, it doesn't feel good.
Right.
And so we make a conscious decision to do whatever I need to do not to feel that again.
Right.
And unless that's dealt with at that time,
Yeah.
we grow up with that same narrative, and
Yeah.
it shows up in our lives in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And so we thought, well, let's work with that first. So Dr. Fire came with a beautiful a model curriculum called the WOW model, Walk on Water, and that is to rise above the surface, right, and
Yeah.
to walk comfortably without fear.
Yes.
Because as the biblical story goes, when Jesus called out to the disciples to come out from the boat and to walk,
Hmm.
and it was only fear that caused them to sink.
That's right.
So that metaphor it was a perfect way to start
Yeah.
in that model is to be able to how do I walk on this perpetual water and
Yeah.
not be in fear. So that
Absolutely.
let me work on my internal self, make sure I'm working on things that I know now based on the evidence of my life, the consequences of my life, that shows evidence there's something that needs to be corrected.
Mm.
So it needs
Absolutely.
to be
Yeah.
transformed, as it were, right? So
Yeah.
so that's what's so different in the beginning about our curriculum is that we do that initially before we get any of the uh the life coaching idiosyncrasies of what that is. We work on ourselves first, right? We work on our core beliefs. What am I believing? What am I saying to myself? What is in my subconscious that I've decided that's who I am,
Yeah.
right? Those subliminal messagings that we have come to agreement with. We don't question anymore, right?
Right.
That's called our belief system. That's called what we stand on,
Yes.
right? That's
Yes.
called where we find what we say is where our integrity lies, and all those
Absolutely.
things, right? And
Yeah.
but within that, we go through life, and then things start to begin to happen, to occur, until now there's the demonstration of how your belief is serving you.
Yes.
Is what you believe continue to serve you,
Yeah.
right? And so we do that whole piece about that walking water, the core beliefs, and we talk about so many other things about so that after all this said done, what purpose did it have for you in your life? Let's shift how I define my walk, my
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
And so versus being punitive walk, right? Let it be more where I can just meet where I'm at, more of a discernment.
Yes.
And once we get to that point where we get to that safe space, we get to that space where we're no longer in fear. Certainly, we're not saying that we're perfect, but we have the best tools. If anything comes
Yeah.
right, and that tool we teach is called breadcrumbing. The Hansel and Gretel story where they walk away, they go out to the woods, but they drop breadcrumbs so they can make sure they find their way back.
Right.
So the breadcrumb process for how do I find my way back to that God self, to my higher self. And
Yeah.
so we go through that process of breadcrumbing. And then once we do that, then we go into, okay, so one of the most important things to realize is that what purpose did all these things happen in my life? What purpose did it have?
Hmm.
So we talk about the purpose of, right? And so shifting how I define my life and giving it purpose versus casualties and regrets and
Right.
shame and guilt, which those things are the lowest energy vibration that you're going to vibrate in.
That's right.
And with shame, guilt, so our goal is to make sure that you rise above those things to finally be able to have this other thing that we talk about is this radical forgiveness of ourselves,
Hmm.
right?
That's right.
There's a kind of forgiveness that, man, you got to go deeper. You
Yeah.
got to penetrate deeper into that soul level to really forgive yourself, to really do that work. So all those things are part of the process of transcendence in our teaching and the way we do.
Yeah.
And we call it a master life coaching too, because this is about self and self mastery is the
Mastery.
goal,
Yeah.
meaning that I have the tools
Yeah.
that I've worked on that I've now confident. So it's like, there's the golf tournament called the Masters. And the
Hmm.
only ones that make that golf tournament are the ones who have mastered a skill set in golf.
Hmm.
So well, you know what? It's the same thing. Our intention is for you to master the skill set of experience, right? For self, and then be able to put that into a process of life coaching.
Yeah.
About so to be able to this journey of self-discovery,
Yeah.
to masterful of that as we can.
And
Right.
then when you can master that for yourself, then you can talk about coaching others. And some of the things that part of that
Absolutely.
program also, I'd like for you to talk about what's unique that other courses don't offer because you offered other types of certifications as well.
Give thanks. And yes, and that's the other thing that sets us aside from other life coaching institutes and agencies. So we also offer anger management. We offer anger management specialist of CAMS 2 qualification, which is one of the higher qualifications of anger management. So that where you go through our process, you get certified to be able to um, have clients who are mandated for anger management. And there's a lot of that going on. We have a lot of
Mhm.
angry people in society, right? We know,
Yeah,
right?
especially with
Uh,
this administration and things being,
yes.
cut and people losing jobs and the fear that is being circulated. There's a lot of anger. Yeah, so this is
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, we do that. And then we also offer our efficient efficient to do weddings, funerals, and premarital counseling. And
Hmm.
so we find that that's very life coach to bring that same perspective into, even though you're not a fully ordained minister, but you are trained with those ministerial aspects of weddings, funerals, and counseling. So, in fact, I just did, just together with me, we just did one with one of my our graduates, and that was just a unique experience because we find that people are not wanting to necessarily go through the traditional
Yeah.
weddings and the language. And, the
Yes,
language
the
is so
language.
outdated.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
outdated,
It's outdated. Yeah.
and it's somewhat fear-based if you really
Mm-mm.
unpack it. So,
Yeah.
so that's what we try. We prepare our students to be able to do that if they so choose. That's an option. We also have our students go through public speaking,
Mhm.
speaking from the camera. So we have a professional who has been in that industry for a long time,
Mhm.
train folks to be able to obviously speak well and articulate, to be understood, right? But also we talk about as well. You could be able to speak well and be specific in your speaking and hitting the target of the conversation. You have to also be a great listener,
Listener. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Listening for clarity, not for to be heard.
Yeah.
So make those distinctions. And then we also offer a business class where we have a person come in and train you how to operate and set up your business as well.
Wow.
So we do that as well. So those are really excellent caveats in addition that you get as a master life coach with TLC.
See, I listen. This is the course. If you want to stand out, and what's wonderful about this particular program is that you can find where you fit in. So if you once you've learned the basics of life coaching and you say, you know what, I want to deal in anger management, or I want to take my life coaching and do in public speaking, or if I want to take it and work with this particular population, you get the full training. And so you heal yourself, and then you are able to get more clarity on what it is that you want to do. This is
Absolutely.
so,
Absolutely. And if I may, the program, it's an 8 month program,
yes.
right? And it's one week in a month. So whatever we also start our initial class with a retreat. We have a beautiful location that we use on the lake where we take everyone away from the daily life stuff as much as
Yeah.
possible,
Yeah.
and we bring them all together as a class to begin to start their journey, right?
Yeah.
In a safe, comfortable, spiritual surrounding, and it's a beautiful surrounding to start off. So that's the first class, and then the next class are on our campus at our office location, and it's one week in a month. So whatever weekend you start on that retreat, that'll be your weekend throughout the 8 months. So you'll be able to schedule yourself month to month for that one weekend. And the
Yeah.
classes are from 9:30 to 5, Saturday and Sundays.
And I think
Uh,
it's a beautiful concept because not everyone can go, 5, 7 days a week or 3, 6, 9 weeks all together. And plus it's a lot. And so
yes,
giving once a month allows them to go through the workbook, go through the work for within themselves, and
yes,
it's not too taxing on our everyday life activities. So if this is something that you're really interested in, and you make a commitment to it 1 week in a month, hey, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
what else? What more could you ask for? So I just really admire the thoughts that went through, the consideration that you went through with the participants, starting with learning, understanding yourself first, and then
Yes.
moving on to the different aspects of coaching. So I do really applaud and invite you, those viewers, to inquire more. We invite you to take this course, not even if you're really wanting to be a life coach, but if you want to learn a life coach yourself, this is
Yes.
the course to
Absolutely.
take.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And so you also do the school, you have your private practice, but I also know that you're getting
And
ready to take
again,
this
it starts with self.
internationally. You're getting ready to
Yeah.
take this whole program internationally. Is that
Yes.
right? Tell
Yes.
us a little bit
Yes.
about that.
Yes. So Dr. Fye and I, a couple years ago, had the pleasure to we have done workshops with Mandela Fellows program out of Georgia State. Our colleague and one of our graduates, Dr. Sharon Hill, invited us the initially for the Mandela Fellows, which is an initiative that was started by President Obama several years ago. So it's coming out from other countries can come in, particularly the African continent, to come in and do their continuing education, right? To come here
Mm,
and bring. So we've had doctors, attorneys, psychologists, folks that work at the grassroots level with the people in the villages,
yeah,
all types of individuals who are part of that program, the the Mandela Fellows. So we were able to meet them, right? Do workshops with them initially, and then once we, of course, we told about our, and so we talked about it. We invited them into the office. We did a class, introductory class with them.
yeah.
I work with our with the Queens, and then we brought them together, and they said we want to do this.
Mm,
So thankful to technology, we were able to use the WhatsApp app in
mhm,
order to communicate and do classes with them.
mm.
So it was a beautiful journey, and so we want to continue that journey now. That's we have more access to it, and through Hillside, we have a collaborative partnership with them as Hillside University, and Hillside International Truth Center is what it is, International Truth Center, which is where my where I was ordained at as well. And so with that access, ironically, I'm going to Ghana in June, and so I'm
Oh,
gonna kind of veggie back on this process, new contacts all
yeah,
around, and just re-engage that whole process. We
yeah,
also have Australia, we have access to Hawaii, and so we want to be able to utilize those relationships and know
absolutely.
no
Yeah,
matter.
because the work is needed. The work is needed globally, and we are doing our part. We believe that we are the pebble in the pond and that it
Yes,
reverberates and continues to circulate. So I am
yes,
so thankful and grateful. And before we leave, I would be remiss if I didn't also talk about the other part that you do with TLC on a higher level.
yes. Yeah, the Theological Institute of Transpersonal Psychology. We offer a master's, a ministerial master's degree in transpersonal psychology. Transpersonal psychology is a very unique psychology. It's considered to be the fourth psychology, which was derived from the humanistic psychology as a modality. And
Hmm.
so, what we do with that is we combine certainly spiritual aspects, esoteric aspects, but also there's still clinical aspects there together. So there's an emerging of clinical and spiritual at a higher level.
Thank
Uh,
you.
and,
Yeah,
and that's just some beautiful work, and we didn't realize that's really a deep dive.
yeah.
Uh, Individuals who get that, and so we were graced our last graduation to
Okay, so we froze a little
have
bit.
9 graduates
So
for
we
that
had
being at a
nine
higher level of
graduates.
service
Yeah. What
psychology.
month was that?
Yeah, that was last December,
Last December, nine
December
graduates in
2024.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
So so it's a specialty. It's a specialty degree for those who are in that mindset.
Yeah.
We realize that, and so
Yeah.
we're really focusing on attracting those individuals in that mindset who want to be able to be that uh, person who can intervene with certain purpose with their challenges in life, with their challenge with their spirituality, and to be able to. It's just a beautiful merge to meet the whole person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's what I'm saying is that there's cause and there's effect in all
Hmm.
of our lives.
That's right.
So Western culture, I believe, deals with more effect.
Hmm.
and transpersonal psychology said, well, yeah, that's that. But what about why is that?
Why is that?
What's the
That's
cause
right.
of that?
Yeah.
And so the intrinsic work is to get to the cause of things and not work on the effects of things.
Yeah.
And so that's what we train and how to do in terms of in transpersonal psychology.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. J, for enlightening us. And I know that from this program, you definitely will ignite the power within. So I'll be using that
Shay.
quite often. Um,
Shay. And
Dr.
it
Jerome,
requires us.
absolutely. Dr. Jerome, before we leave, I always ask my guests three questions. And the first one is, what do you do to physically help heal your heart?
Hmm, meditate,
Okay.
meditation, finding solitude with turning the phone off, the TV off, and just being with me.
Yeah.
That's really what really begins the heart journey, right? That you go within in prayer, meditation,
Yeah.
the breath work, and just
Mm,
tuning out the outer and staying
yeah.
within the inner, right?
Yeah.
And so do that. Also certainly get enough rest.
Mhm. Oh, wonderful.
Right,
See, people
right.
don't realize how important it is to get that rest and take it to the next level, have quality sleep. So we
Yes,
rest from our daily mental exhaustion, but having that quality sleep is the time when we heal. And so I'm glad not many people mention that it is
yes,
resting and the
yes,
resting in peace and the sleep that really helps you to be more resilient
yeah,
and invigorate you for the next
yes,
day. So yeah.
absolutely.
And so I don't even have to ask the rest, what do you
Yeah,
do?
and the third thing.
Go ahead. Mhm.
Well, it's kind of three things that I'll combine it is exercise and staying hydrated. Yeah,
Hydrated.
exercise, staying hydrated. Yeah, staying hydrated. And then people take that for granted,
It's true.
Um, water is the essential,
Yeah.
not Kool-Aid and juice has its place and those things, milk for some, but there's nothing like the natural element of water for
Yes.
our bodies. You know, it's not an option, it's required.
It's required. It's
Yeah,
so much required. This is what 70 or 80% of our body is
yes,
deep. We are birthed out of water. And so to maintain that hydration, especially now that we're taping this during the summer months, but it's so even more important in the winter months as well. So hydrating ourselves also gives us the energy because in water there is electricity and we are electrical beings. So don't here goes my pawn on words. Don't sleep on water.
yes,
Because
yes.
we talked about good sleep. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you've answered all three of the questions. What do you do for your heart physically, emotionally, and spiritually? Is there any tip that you could leave us with before we tune out?
Any tip as far as taking the
Life,
heart or in general
life, period.
life?
You feel
Um, yeah, just find a space in your heart to find gratitude, to be grateful,
mm, absolutely.
to be faithfully grateful for all things,
Mm,
because all things have purpose in our lives.
yeah,
Even the things that we don't like, we didn't want, they still
yeah,
have the purpose. We say, a lot of folks say we use this phrase, everything's divine order. But truly know what that means is certainly to be grateful,
mm,
to have gratitude for all things.
yes,
And I think that gratitude is the grace that we receive by being grateful.
yeah,
So I just I would recommend one to find space in your heart
yeah,
to find gratitude for your life and your being,
yeah,
even when things aren't going well. It's all, and I believe that anything that's not going well, it just gives an opportunity to find a solution, to be
yeah,
about and not be stuck in the thing itself. So I think grace with gratitude and not find myself stuck no matter what the situation is.
yes. Grace and gratitude so much. So thank you. Thank you. I give thanks. I give thanks. And I am grateful for you and giving us this presence and this time to think about how we take care of our how we ignite the power within. And I'll leave it with that.
So,
Reverend
and
Jerome.
but Dr. Sher, I must give you kudos also. The fact that you speak and talk about the heart, we're emotional creatures. Everything begins at the heart chakra.
That's
We're emotional people. We're designed to be emotional. Our emotions will do and have our life turn how it's going to turn out. So I'm grateful for you and what you do as well in terms of focusing us on reminding us about our heart and to take care of that and to be purposeful in the care of how we take care of our heart.
yes, absolutely. Well, thank you. You've said it for me. Take caring of your heart so your heart will take care of you.
Yes.
Heartbeat. You've heard it here. Tune in, tune up. Listen, we got more for you. So thank you so much. Give thanks.
All right. All right. Good. Thanks. Yes.